Well, here's today's project, maybe today and tomorrow, but I'm gonna tear out this old in-ground swimming pool. And as you can see, it's not been used for a little while, so I'm gonna drain it down, and then I think the building is gonna stay and that little bit of concrete, but all the concrete around the pool, I believe up to the bricks. I know they're getting taken out at some point because they're in the process. Somebody bought this property and they're gonna work on trying to flip this house. But this pool hasn't been used in a long time, as you can tell. And it looks like someone's been throwing a bunch of rocks and trash and junk over the years. So we get it drained down to where I can see, I can pull some of that stuff out. I think the majority of the concrete I'm going to try to just break up and lay in there flat, and then just bury it here, because it'll either gonna get buried here or buried somewhere else. And I should still have plenty of coverage to get grass to grow and stuff on there. I'll take the trash and the cardboard and the other junk out, but got to break out the old Harbor Freight trash pump. So that has been a handy little pump to have around. And I need to punch a hole in the bottom of it so it doesn't hold water anymore, and then we'll just start trying to pull this concrete in here and see if we can't break it up. And I'm kind of just draining everything out to the woods here. I think it's going to be far enough away from my working space. Shouldn't affect anything. But now I got to run down the driveway. I got some limbs to trim up with the pole saw, so I can get the dump truck and the 2150 in here, and then we'll do that, let the pump keep working, and then we'll be back here shortly with the 2150, and hopefully we can make some good headway tearing this pool out. Back for day 2, and as you can see, I made a little discovery yesterday. Apparently, I think they said they bought this house earlier this year in foreclosure, and I'm guessing the previous owners turned the pool into their own personal trash dump, and then they had all that rock and stuff on top of it. So until you got it drained down, and this is all in the deep end right here. But yeah, it looks like they just threw anything and everything in here and then tried to burn it. So we got toilets and sinks and I don't know what else, maybe a light fixture and buckets, and it's nasty. Just trash. I don't know, this just blows my mind. So the homeowner showed up yesterday when we kind of discovered this, so I don't know, I guess I kind of forgot to film and just kind of cleaned it out to see what we can come up with here. A friend of mine that's got the shop next to me, he's got he recycles pallets, so he's got some dumpsters and stuff. So I just told this guy we're gonna need to get this out of here. I know they're gonna just have to haul it to a landfill and they'll bury it there, but I don't feel right just trying to bury this stuff back in here and then fill this pool and stuff. So I'm gonna try to pick the concrete out, and then all the trash and junk we'll load up and get out of here. And then I brought me a wrecking block today since I don't have a hammer. I'm gonna start see if I can just pick it up and drop it, punch a hole in the bottom, and start breaking the sides up. I guess it's gunite, what they or gunite or whatever they call this, but it looks like it's got rebar every 6 inches or a foot, and then it's just all concrete in here. So it's probably gonna take a little more to tear this out, but yeah, I don't know. Yeah, there's glass bottles, and I'm just not big on burying trash, definitely in someone's backyard. I mean, I know it's gonna get buried at the landfill, but it's just gross. And then I don't know if it would ever, you know, if it always settle or it'd be a soft spot or what. We're gonna try to get it loaded into a dumpster and take it to the proper place anyway. But let's see if we can't sift through this junk and clean this mess up. Yeah, this is just gross. I can't believe somebody, I don't know, maybe I shouldn't be surprised. The only I can think of is like they knew that this house was going to get foreclosed on, so they just tried to trash it. But this was probably a really nice pool at one time. Yeah, it's just glass bottles and metal and you name it. But I guess I probably could have put this in my dump truck, but I figured the roll-off would just be the easier way to go. Looks even worse. I'm guessing they tried to burn it, that's why it's kind of black. And then it's been sitting in water for who knows how long. The new owner was a little surprised, to say the least. Man, I don't know if they, who knows, tore some parts of the house up, just threw it out here or what, but I think they just bought it earlier this year, just a few months ago or something, and they got the outside of the house done, obviously, because apparently it didn't look like this at all. Yeah, I think we're going to get it all cleaned up now. Like I said, I just felt better. Yeah, like look, was that a hair dryer and then like a belt sander? Jeez Louise. But yeah, I kind of got sidetracked yesterday when we discovered all this, and then I almost, I don't know, thought about not even filming any of it. I think I just dropped the hair dryer off the back side. So yeah, at least I'm trying to be somewhat responsible and dispose of it properly. This looks like household or construction trash. It was just placed in here. So, I don't know. I thought I'll put it on the YouTube, so we'll see how it goes over, or if I get in trouble or blasted or whatever. But I also thought about kind of just sharing it, just to put in, you know, this is some of the everyday stuff that people run into that really just changes the job. And part of it could have been my fault. I mean, when I looked at this thing, it was plumb full of water. I just thought it had a bunch of rock in it, so I was like, well, I'll just use that for filler, because we're just going to bust up the concrete and then now, and then just try to fill everything in. So I didn't really think about it, but this was all in the deep end. You really couldn't see. You could see a little bit of trash up on the shallow end. I was gonna like pick that out, but it was nothing like what was here. We may be just gonna throw some rocks in this dumpster too. So yeah, maybe it'll be a good learning experience for somebody to see how these jobs, how quickly they can kind of change. Which luckily, I mean, it's not, I think this dumpster is going to be, I don't know, like 450 bucks or whatever, so it's not like it's an astronomical price difference, but it's, to me, it's kind of one of those things, it's got to be done, so there's no getting around it. I just wouldn't feel right just trying to throw this back in this guy's yard. I know it'd be buried nice and deep. Like I said, they're going to bury it at a landfill, but trying to have a yard and grow grass over it just didn't seem like the right thing to do. Well, I got the pool cleaned out probably as good as it's going to get, so now we're going to sneak over here and see how my breaker block is going to work. I know a lot of people are going to tell me I need a hammer, but which I could maybe try to call around. I couldn't find one yesterday. I don't even have all the wires I need to, not wires, but I don't have the adapter hoses yet on here to put an attachment on. We never got around to doing that. Try to do this without just destroying my fender. Or my ram. I really don't like putting hammers on my own machines. I mean, I'd probably just rent one, but trying to rent anything right now and get machines is kind of difficult to do. Alright, don't drop it on my trailer. And what I've always done in the past is just take a chunk of concrete and just drop on it and kind of break it up, or use a ripper. So we're going to try and see how that works. Here goes nothing. I think it's going to work pretty good. See that just break in half. Bottom here in a minute. Yeah, I'll move over here. I think it's gonna work. Like I said, it may not be the most efficient down kind of whatnot. It's gonna break it up. I'm gonna end up breaking more of this concrete. Hey, if nothing else, it's kind of fun. This barricade may not last all day long, but I drop it in the water, but I'm afraid it's gonna, which I'm gonna have to punch a hole in the bottom of it here in a little while anyways. Well, believe it or not, this is actually looks like progress. I have got a disaster, but I've got all the bottom busted up and kind of barely make out the edge of the what's left of the concrete, but the center's all busted out. And then I was able to actually, right here, I was able to break through this whole shallow part of the back of the curve or whatever. So there was some more concrete and junk buried behind it, but I dug me a little hole and then just kept dropping more pieces on there. Then I kind of got the bucket on the front side and it started chipping away. But now I'm hoping I can kind of go in there and hook where I got it busted up on the floor and kind of just work my way around. I think now that I got a section of it broke, there's some stairs right here. This corner may be kind of a pain, but I'm thinking now it's got it, you know, since it's broken half, maybe it's loose enough where it'll start coming out. But I'll finish my lunch and we'll jump back in the machine and see if we can't continue making a mess. here's the end of, I guess you could call it day 2. I was here yesterday kind of messing around and getting it drained, but all the concrete sides and bottom, it's all busted up, down, laying on the deep end in here. And then what clay and junk like that, I just kind of smeared it around and tracked it down. It is pumping extremely bad, but I'll probably start with the peat tomorrow. I got some stuff at the shop that's pretty rocky, and I'll bring 3 or 4 loads of that in here. Probably be able to get it hopefully about where the excavator is sitting, and then just push it in with that. And then maybe a few loads of the little, I don't know, the better stuff with smaller rock, and then probably track that down, let it sit there, maybe let it dry. I don't know if I'll try to get any dirt on Saturday and throw in here, or if it's even dry enough yet or not. But yeah, hopefully tomorrow we should have it all back up to the height that it needs to be, or pretty close anyways. We'll see. I know it's gonna get a little soft where I start backing the truck in, but yeah, that was it's a little bit of a fight at first, but then got to going pretty good. Yeah, I ended up breaking the corner off of this piece, and then that over there was already pretty in bad shape. I'm sure when I ran over it, it didn't help, but they talked about maybe taking that chunk out anyways, but I may just bring my saw and saw cut it. Definitely looks a lot different tonight than what it did last night. So filled that 30-yard dumpster almost to the top with all the trash and junk like that. There's a little bit of stuff that I didn't get out of there, I'm sure, mixed in with that rock and junk at the bottom, but I got all the concrete laying flat, and put it down first and put the concrete over it, then kind of put the clay and just walked it in. But yeah, I guess we'll fuel this thing up and grease it, and then just be back in the morning. She's a she's a little muddy now, so definitely have to clean it off real good before I take it out of here. But this machine it's definitely impressed me. So without this machine, I may have been able to get this done, I don't know, with the 260, but it'd been hard on it and been rough. So yeah, I am definitely loving this machine. But okay, well, we're gonna get, I don't know, I'll probably shovel the blades and what I can on the tracks off tonight, fuel it up and grease it, park it, and be back with the Peterbilt in the morning, start hauling some fill.